Coming up on the Hong Kong Racing Show, the latest on Japan's Champions Day and Kentucky Derby Day contenders with special guest Kate Hunter.
These are the building blocks of the best dirt horses in Japan, and I think Danon Bourbon will prove to be one of those.
Plus all the latest Hong Kong racing news, and we look ahead to all the action this weekend at Sha Tin. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Hong Kong Racing Show. I'm Andrew Brown, joined as always by Alex Evers as we count down the days now to Champions Day, a Group 1 triple header at Sha Tin on Sunday week, the week before Kentucky Derby Day weekend. You getting pumped, Alex? You got a busy couple of weeks coming up.
Very, very pumped up. Lovely to be here back here with you, Brownie. Fly out to Hong Kong this weekend and cannot wait to get out there for Champions Day. Been following the trials. Romantic Warriors trial looked incredible. Ying Rising's little track work on the grass there this morning or yesterday looked awesome. So things are ticking over and we're getting closer to the big event.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, let's look at that Romantic Warrior trial you just mentioned. Of course, that was on Tuesday morning at Sha Tin. Looked pretty untested. You would say that's numbers in front who eventually holds on to win the trial, but Romantic Warrior looking very comfortable there, Alex.
Yeah, he looked awesome, and the way he settled back and then made that effortless move forward throughout the pack on the outside there was incredible. And he looks better since he's come back off the injury. This is his toughest test probably at Sha Tin, but can't wait to see what he does, and it's going to be a great race regardless.
Yeah, James McDonald back in town for that ride since he was last in Hong Kong. I think he's been crowned Australia's greatest ever Group 1 jockey, even though he's from New Zealand, but I'm just saying a rider in Australia, the greatest ever in terms of number of Group 1 wins. He'll probably hit 200 one day. So that was good stuff. Things are looking good there. Danny Shum had a treble at Happy Valley during the week as well, so he's getting warmed up for a big weekend next weekend as well. And that brought him into third on the championship behind our friends Casper Founds and Mark Newnham, who are currently on top, equal on 48 wins, I think, from memory. You mentioned the Ying Rising workout as well, Alex. That was during the week on the turf this time. And, yeah, he was looking very comfortable under Zach Purton, ready to go, you would think.
Yeah, when he switched his legs there a little late in the straight, his action, he quickens effortlessly. It's wild to see. I can't think of another horse. Maybe Flightline was one that I was so excited to get up and watch work out. And this one's very much the same. Anytime you see him move, you're like, this is different. This is incredible. So
yeah,
hopefully he caps off another undefeated season, and it'll be great to see. And just being in his presence is always special.
Yeah, lucky you get to see him again. How many of his wins will you have been in person for now? If it's 20 straight wins on Sunday week.
I photographed a couple before the graded stakes started too. Maybe 10, maybe.
Yeah, right. Wow.
10 or 11, probably.
Lucky
I'd have to go back and looking at it all up.
The other interesting trial during the week too, from a Champions Day perspective, was Little Paradise, actually, who held off Red Line. Invincible Ibis was in there. Galaxy Patch ran fourth. There was a star-studded trial. I think Raging Blizzard was in there as well. So all of those horses look to be training well towards Champions Day next weekend. A little bit of Champions Day news as well that has come through since we were last doing this show, and that's Shin Emperor, who's now heading off to Kentucky Derby Day, which is all very interesting as well. So we won't see him in the QA2 Cup, and Museum Mile as well, which I was really looking forward to seeing Museum Mile there. And we're going to have Demuro on board as well, Museum Mile, but Museum Mile no longer going to the QE2 Cup. But it's still going to be some fascinating races and a lot of interest too coming from Japan. You know Kate Hunter, don't you, Alex?
Yeah, very well. Kate's the best.
She's fantastic. She does a lot of work bringing horses from Japan over to the States for the Breeders' Cup and Kentucky Derby, but she also does that with Hong Kong as well. Helps a lot with International Day and getting Japan horses to Hong Kong and all that kind of stuff as well. I was lucky enough to be at Churchill Downs last weekend. Was it the weekend? No, it was a very quick trip. I flew in Thursday night and flew back on Friday morning. But when I was there, I ran into Kate, Alex, and grabbed her for 10 minutes or so. We had a great chat about the Japanese horses that are going to be in town for the Kentucky Derby, and also all the Japan horses that are going to be in town in Hong Kong for Champions Day. And she gave us nice insights into horses such as Danon, Bourbon, and Wonder Dean, and all that kind of stuff. So let's get over to that interview now. I should just point out we did record it before the news broke that Museum Mile won't be going to Champions Day. But here's Kate. It's always great to be joined by Kate Hunter. Kate, welcome back to the States. You settled back into Kentucky?
Yep, it's becoming second nature at this point.
Yeah, well, how many years is this now that you've been back to Kentucky with a Kentucky Derby contender from Japan?
It's been 5 years in a row, and,
Wow.
and the 5 of those, this is, and all of them have also been UA Derby winners. I mean, we get the Japan Road winner as well, but 5 years Dubai UA Derby winners, all coming to Kentucky.
Who's been your favourite horse to bring from Japan over the years?
Oh, that's in over all of the years, or Derby wise?
Is this like asking to choose your favourite child? But
yeah, it's kind of hard. But I mean, I guess if the easiest answer is Forever Young.
Yeah.
Because his Derby was exciting. He's just an exciting horse all around. And like last year, he nearly broke me. When in the Classic, I screamed so hard I thought I would lose my voice forever.
Yeah, that was just unbelievable scenes there at Del Mar, and what a champion he is, this horse as well.
Anywhere in the world, and he will hit that board if he's not winning.
Yeah, he's a real competitor.
Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, we might talk about him a little bit more in a little bit, but let's focus on the horses that are in the Kentucky Derby this year, starting with Wonder Dean, who is just over there getting a bath at the moment. As we recorded this, it was his first morning out on the track. How's he settled in to Kentucky?
Very, very well.
Yep.
They took it kind of slow with him, which is not very popular in the United States. But this is the same thing they did after the Saudi Derby, and he responded really well to it. So they obviously know how to, recover their horse. And so they took him out today just for a little. They walked a lap, trotted half a lap, and then walked the rest of the way. And did a bit of warming up on both sides, warming up and cooling down inside the barn. But the groom was really excited. He said he felt great. So doesn't really feel that tired. So he seems to have recovered quite well.
That's fantastic. He looks fantastic as well. He looks a picture there, and the sun hitting him on the nice side over there, as we can see. So the team must have been really pleased with how he won the UAE Derby, the style in which he won too. He kind of had that American speed out of the gates, took a nice sit. Christian Demura made a pretty confident move on the back stretch, and away he went for it. Looks like distance is not going to be a problem.
Christian did a perfect ride. It was absolutely beautiful. So, that's the kind of thing that if we get that kind of a ride and kind of positioning in the Derby, you'd be super excited and probably get a nice finish there. The distance really shouldn't be a problem, adding, another 100 meters, as we say, to the distance. Clearly won't be a problem, from his pedigree. He's got, 2 Derby winners in there. He's got D Majesty, who's a Japan Derby winner, Deep Impact Japan Derby winner. That's mile and a halfs. Distance for this little guy won't be a problem.
And of course, Wonder Dean, not the only Kentucky Derby contender from Japan this year. We've also got the very appropriately named Danon Bourbon arriving as well. What can you tell us about this horse? His last out win looked super impressive.
Well, and he's very, very American. So he was sold at Keeneland September to Mr. Katsumi Yoshida and Northern Farm. And so, he's only had 3 starts, but they have been the kind of 3 starts you'd want to see in a racehorse that you'd want to run in a race like the Kentucky Derby. He's got a pedigree that I think, I mentioned someone mentioned in another interview that, if he was already in America, you'd expect him to be in the Derby. Right. So I think that he while he's going to have the Japan Road kind of lack of black type kind of shadow hanging over him a little bit, which I will say, I will shout this to the rooftops in every interview that I do. The Japan Road to the Kentucky Derby, all 4 of those races, continually produce the best dirt horses in Japan. Japan's the way Japanese does dirt racing is usually they focus on older horses, not 3-year-olds, not 2-year-old, 3-year-olds. So, but from those 4 races, usually come your superstars later in their life. So these are the building blocks of the best dirt horses in Japan, and I think Danon Bourbon will prove to be one of those.
Right, he's being very well respected in international betting markets as well at the moment, around
That's
sort
nice.
of the 16, 17
not
to 1
used to the
mark.
respect. That's nice. I'll take it.
Forever Young was respected.
Fair. But I mean, he's a special boy.
Yeah,
So.
he was indeed. Okay, and we've also got some other Japanese interest going to be on Kentucky Derby Day. One of the horses at the expense of Champions Day in Hong Kong, but we won't hold that against you. Shin Emperor, exciting that we're going to get to see him in the United States though.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been trying to get him over for the Breeders' Cup, and he's going for the Japan Cup and things like that has always been a high priority for Yahagi Sensei. So I was super excited to see him, kind of interested in kind of coming over to the United States. And we've talked about the Breeders' Cup, but for this kind of a horse, the kind of races that kind of fit him, we were very lucky that he was kept an open mind for the Turf Classic. Turf Classic had an increase in prize money this year as well, and so it was. I'm really appreciative that Yahagi was able to keep an open mind and think about the options for his horse. The Hong Kong race looks like a real cracker.
Yes.
I wish I could be there to see it myself.
Me too.
It's with Museum Mile and Masquerade Ball and Romantic Warrior. Woof.
Yeah.
So that'll. I do not envy the other horses in that race because they're fighting for fourth.
Yeah, true. Well, it's a great segue. Let's talk a little bit about the QE2 Cup, which is coming up the weekend before the Kentucky Derby. Saturday night, North American time, Sunday, of course, at Sha Tin. And that race that you mentioned, I think, of course, Ying Rising is going to be running that day, but this, I feel like, is the race that we're going to be most excited about because you've got Romantic Warrior taking on the likes of these 2 Japanese stars, Masquerade Ball and Museum Mile. Can the Japanese stars beat Romantic Warrior on his home turf?
Who knows? I mean, obviously Romantic Warrior is getting up there age-wise, but with those Hong Kong stars, age is just a number. Apparently,
yeah.
It's amazing what they're able to do, given how long they race their horses. The care they must put into those horses must be just absolutely phenomenal for them to keep that kind of consistency over so many years. It's not going to be easy for the Japanese to do it, but I think that Masquerade Ball with his performance in the Japan Cup against Calandigan, and Museum Miles, really impressive run in the Arima Kinen. They're not going to make it easy for Romantic Warrior. So he's going to have to use every little ounce of that he's got.
Yeah, I'm going to be a really intriguing race, that one. I can't wait for it. And of course, I did mention Ying Rising. Satono Reve is going to come over and have another crack at him. Is there anything to suggest that he could potentially put some more pressure on Ying Rising and make that race competitive?
I sincerely hope so. I mean, Satono Reve has proven to be such an amazing, sprinter for us.
Yeah.
And so, in us being Japan, and it's been amazing to see him, bloom and travel and do so well, especially over in Europe, where Japan has traditionally really struggled. So to see, him go back and just to even give it the old college try again is pretty exciting. So, I mean, given Ying Rising's performance, it's probably going to be a race for second.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll be closer second than normal.
Okay, we'll see. Has Ying Rising got a fan base in Japan?
Well, Japan, they love their Hong Kong racing. So,
Right.
if Ying Rising would come to Japan, the fandom would blossom, would just boom. So, but absolutely, they love their Hong Kong racing over there. I think if more jurisdictions were to pay attention to Hong Kong racing, the fandom would bloom everywhere because it's a great jurisdiction.
Yeah, exciting times there. So Ying Rising looking for win number 20. We had Zach Purton on the show last week. We asked him, is Winx's record potentially in danger? That's 33 wins, and he says it's a long way down the track. That would be another 2 years of him being undefeated. But hey, the way he's running, who knows?
Well, yeah, the way he's running, it's he's those other horses that might beat him I probably haven't even born yet. So.
No, that's very true. What do you look forward to most when you hear outside of the day-to-day stuff you have to do around the stables and all your admin work and all that kind of stuff and getting the horses into the starting gate at the Kentucky Derby? What else do you like to do when you're around here?
well, I like taking the lads out and kind of doing stuff and kind of showing them different aspects of Kentucky and America.
Yeah.
I usually do there's a couple things. We always take them over to Keeneland because they have racing there right now. Extra special this year because I want to make sure they come back for the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll go see some stallions, and I just try and like find really good restaurants and things like that for them to be able to try American foods and just the different kinds of foods that are available in the United States. I've taken them to rodeos before. I'm always trying to look for something fun to do.
Yeah.
I take them bowling, just any kind of thing, just to kind of make their time in Kentucky fun. And seeing them enjoy themselves on top of taking care of their horses and then hopefully performing respectively well in the races, like that's the fun part. So having fun with them, because most of the guys that come over here with the horses are just really good people. They're fun loving, they're kind, and so making sure that they enjoy their time overseas is really important to me.
Yeah. What do they think of the food?
So far, they really like it. They've actually been complaining because they're like usually I need a belt, and so they're starting to get a little pudgy around the center. I'm like, well, it'll be like a medicine ball for your horse. It'll make him stronger.
There you go. Just one last thing, you mentioned the Breeders' Cup. Then any horses that you can tell us? I mean, it's early days, 6 months away from Japan, that we can perhaps look forward to seeing at Keeneland late October, early November?
It is far too early to start bringing that, but like I'm flexing every muscle. I'm begging and bowing and sending letters and things. So hopefully we'll have a good number this year. I'm hopeful that maybe if the Turf Classic goes relatively well for Shin Emperor, that he'll want to come back for the Breeders' Cup. I'm really hoping that they'll decide to bring Forever Young back. Maybe I hope he tries turf, but I'd be very happy if he comes back to take on the likes of Magnitude again and also Sovereignty. I'd love to see that matchup in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and then obviously I'm looking for horses for all the races. So I would love to see another contingency of in and about of 10 is my ultimate goal.
Wow!
So that's my goal every year. So if I'm under it, you can shame me for being bad at my job, and if I'm over it, I want applause.
Okay. Well, I think you had like 18 at Delmar a couple of years ago, didn't you, from memory? So that was
that might have actually been a bit too much. I do have a limit.
All right. Well, Kate, thank you so much for stopping by and having a chat. We're looking forward to following Wonder Dean and Danon Bourbon over the next couple of weeks as we head towards Kentucky Derby 152.
And if you're a fan of Wonder Dean, you should definitely follow Museum Mile because it's the same trainer.
There you go. All right, cool. Well, we'll see Museum Mile run before we will see Wonder Dean, of course, in the QE2 Cup at Sha Tin the week before the Kentucky Derby. Kate, thank you so much. Always great to see you. Enjoy your time here.
Will do.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Time now for our international highlight of the week, brought to you by Whirlpool, and we head to Royal Randwick for day 2 of the championships. All races were Whirlpool races, including the Queen Elizabeth, where Hong Kong Derby winning jockey Craig Williams punched home Sir Dilius to victory, and also handed the undefeated Autumn Glow her first career defeat. There's another Group 1 win there for trainer Chris Waller. The Whirlpool back at Randwick this weekend for all 10 races on all-aged stakes day. So some exciting racing in Australia at the moment in Sydney, and Whirlpool very, very prominent there as well. Okay, time to take a look at all the action at Sha Tin this weekend. And the feature race on the card is the Lucky Last. That's race 11, which is a Class 2 contested over the 1,800 metres. That's about 1 mile and an eighth on the turf. Going through the field, Moments in Time hasn't won in a while. Stunning Peach has been racing well lately, draws wide in 12. Winning Wing is having a good season. Don't envy Mark McNamara having to call that horse. Winning Wing. 3 times Winning Wing has found the winner's circle this season. Was third behind Romantic Warrior last time out as well, so strong form there. Patch of Cosmos gets Zach Purton, ran well in the Derby, making up plenty of ground to finish 4th behind Invincible Ibis on that occasion. Gentleman Legacy up in class, but looking for 3 straight wins. Joy of Spring draws nicely in the poll and has a really great record over this distance too. Who else we got going down the page? Seraph Gabriel down the bottom, 5th in the Derby under Purton. Derby, I should say, 5th under the Hong Kong Derby under Purton, and Harry Bentley takes over there. The all-important speed map has Voyage Samurai crossing over from gate 10 to take up the running. Alex, who do you like here?
Well, I think that the format of the Classic Series is strong, and we saw that with Crimson Flash coming back to win as well. And I was on Patrick Cosmos for the Derby, so I'm going to go back to him. Much easier competition. Well, not much easier, but easier competition. Probably the 1800. He suits him a little bit better than the 2000. So I'm going to end up on him on top of Joys of Spring and Seraph Gabriel. He ran pretty well, respectively, closing off last time. Yeah, those are the three that I'm going to go with: Patrick Cosmo and Seraph Gabriel out of that Classic Series.
All right, well, we are aligned. I'm with Patrick Cosmo too. I thought it was a really nice run in the Derby. He gets back, but he should have enough pace in this to get. I think there's enough pace in this race to give him something to run at late. And Purton has one on him before this season, so they reunite. So yeah, I'm with you, Patrick Cosmo in this race. Winning win on the back of that last out third to Romantic Warrior. You really can't knock that form either. So I've got winning win in there as well. Should be a good race. And I think Seraph Gabriel, like you said, that last out 5th was pretty good as well. So I think we're kind of around the same kind of numbers there as well. In terms of best bets, I like one earlier in the card, race 9, number 4, Era Valanik. Probably won't get much of a price given that he's won 2 back-to-back in pretty impressive fashion as well. This assignment doesn't really look that much tougher. Another Purton ride for me, so I'm going Purton there. But yeah, I like race 9, number 4 as my best bet. You got anything else you're following this weekend?
No, I'm going to be flying out, so I haven't digested the card as much as I'm probably not going to get to sit and bet it like I would enjoy otherwise.
Right.
But it's definitely going to keep me entertained until the plane takes off.
Oh, so you're flying out Saturday night, are you?
Yeah, Saturday night. So
right.
Yeah, less punting for me and more lounging, but I'll be following it until I lose internet access.
All good. Right. Anything else to report from a Hong Kong racing or anything perspective before we wrap things up for another week?
No, just Joe's riding really well, and it's been really fun to watch him back and see the fans fired up for his successes there. Hasn't knocked one off at Sha Tin yet, but it's just a matter of time. It's been riding incredible at the Valley. That ride on Family Fortune the other day or on Wednesday night was unreal.
Yeah, so that's 5 wins from him across those 2 Happy Valley cards, all for Casper Founds as well. So pretty riding really well. It's great to see. So that'll make things exciting between now and the rest of the season, particularly that Trainers Championship as well. With,
right.
Mark Newnham and Casper Founds. So that's going to be great stuff. All right, another big weekend coming up this weekend. And then, of course, Champions Day, the Group 1 triple header. Alex will be there. We look forward to seeing all your photos. And you'll have all the latest news from us next week from the track, from trackside, which is going to be great. In the meantime, get all your latest form and stuff from the Hong Kong Jockey Club website, free PPs, trials, expert picks, and more for this weekend's racing. And thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Brownie.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.